this is a video about greatness prep. I don't really need to talk about me that much, but some people tell me that it's important for you to understand the story behind all of this. So I'm going to take a few minutes to tell you, and then we are going to freaking cut loose and deal with you. Because that's why we're here, is to help you. Now you go like, why would he do this? Well, there's an old Chinese expression. It says, first 25 years of life for fooling around. Second 25 years of life for settling down. Third 25 years of life, one becomes student. Fourth 25 years of life, one becomes teacher. So I just entered my fourth quarter. I think it's natural that I become a teacher. I really have, I don't care how this sounds. I actually don't care how anything sounds. I'm going to tell you the way it is. I have everything I want. Everything I want. Okay. At that point, if you understand human growth and development, you will see a period called generativity versus stagnation in Erik Erikson's developmental theory, which says that people want to generate things, new things. They want to provide things that will better the world, that will help people, that will eliminate suffering. I mean, when I was in my 20s, you go like, man, I'm suffering enough, I'm going to help myself, you know. But at some point, you do reach this stage, and that's enough of that. That's why I'm here. Second, I've got some really great people I work with that inspire me, and I inspire them, and we love bringing this kind of message to the world. What is better than doing what you love? It's incredible. Okay. And you will meet some of those people down the road. Incredible people. Wow. Okay, so this is all about greatness, but I didn't start off that way. I wrote a short article, a little film clip called From Po White Trash to Millionaire. And I started off in the South, very poor South. Just before the bombs dropped at Pearl Harbor, I was born, 3 days before that. A few days after that, you know, I got to go home from the hospital. My dad got some overtime money, and he made an extra $25, and that sprung me from the Mobile Infirmary. He came on a bike to bring the money because he couldn't afford a car. Things were tough. Shortly after that, he joined the Marines and went to Guam and said things were looking up. That's a family joke because he and my mother were having a lot of trouble. As soon as he got back, they got divorced. And that's another whole story, chapter in my life about dysfunction. And because another reason why some of us like to give back, just kind of a sidestep here, is because we saw what it's like to live under abuse and neglect, and the damage that it does to people. And we also saw what a lot of people don't know is we've seen a lot of people like us die prematurely from suicide, from addiction, from murder, from accidental death, from you name it, okay, prematurely, because of their dysfunctional upbringing. So I had a woman tell me after I did a presentation once, she was chastising me. She said, well, you turned out all right. You know, like I shouldn't be talking about this stuff about what happens when kids are abused and neglected. And I said, well, you don't know me. I could be all screwed up inside and stand here in front of you depressed and miserable and all kinds of meds to keep me from slashing your throat. You don't know that. And besides that, you see me standing here, there's another 80 or so of me that are dead now, prematurely, because they came through the abuse and neglect that you seem to think not important to learn about if you're a professional. And that's who the workshop was for, is for professionals, educators, social workers, counselors, school psychologists, etc. So a lot of us didn't make it, and those of us who did see a value in lending a hand, or as I like to say, shining a flashlight on the path of those who haven't found it yet, so that they don't have to spend all of their adult years trying to subconsciously undo what was done to them as children by acting it out, by attracting the wrong kinds of things to them, etc., etc. So the extreme of this, as we think about people being abused and neglected, is greatness. Now, this is first of all, you're going to understand at Greatness Prep that we have two fundamental things that we talk about. One is balance, and the other is paradox, because all truth is paradoxical, okay? It's this weird relationship between that couldn't possibly be true, and of course that's true, right? For example, you might say, boy, my grandfather used to say that you could be gone just like that. And he would look at me like, yeah, we can make another grandson if we needed to. you know, we could, just like that, you could be gone, you know? I mean, that really is a good message to send little kids, you know, makes them sleep better at night. And yet, you know, I've learned through my days on this planet that we're eternal, that some spark of us goes on forever, has been here forever. So what a paradox, because Grandpa's right. You could be gone just like that. Car could run over you. Tree could fall on you. Lightning could strike. You know, food poisoning. 5,000 people in this country die every year from food poisoning. Go to a restaurant, have a nice meal, and die from it. That's irony, isn't it? Lay out 20, 30 bucks for a meal and it kills you. We talk about paradox a lot. The interesting thing is that we can be sad sacks, miserable places in our lives, look like crap, stink. I mean, you know, we could be, or just, you know, be grunting along like middle-class people trying to make their payments and get their kids through college and sweating in the bills and, you know, and hoping they keep their jobs. Doesn't matter. Despite all of that, we all have seeds of freaking greatness inside of us. I helped publish a book. Actually, I was co-author of the book on educating for human greatness. And our notion was, why the heck isn't that our goal in our schools today? To educate children for human greatness. I mean, what are we educating them for? Mediocrity? Bare survival? Or do we even know? Wouldn't it be nice if we knew we're all here, teachers, superintendents, social workers, school workers, cafeteria workers, bus drivers, we're all here to help children manifest their talents, their strengths, their aptitudes, their contributions, their dreams to the world, their greatness. How can we bring that out in each child? First, we're going to have to get to know them. Oh gosh, that takes time. Next of all, we're going to find out testing probably isn't that important to greatness. Unless you want to be great at test taking, and I suppose there's a value in that, but oh well. I had a friend of mine who was in Hollywood. I had a couple of friends in Hollywood. He was in a couple movies. His significant other was a locations director. They lived in Hollywood, and everybody thinks Hollywood, you know, is glamorous, and that, I mean, that's where the great people are. Dan used to say, everybody there I know wants to get the hell out of there. They hate it. All that stuff with the red carpet and the awards and all that. He said it's show business. But on the personal side, that's why you hear of people committing suicide. Robin Williams, for example. And some of our great rock stars committing suicide. Kurt Cobain, because they're miserable. And their personal lives are just, you know, sacrificed to be on the big screen, to be on the big stage. And I mean, I know some people who make thousands, tens of thousands of dollars speaking a week, okay? Getting up on a stage and smiling, and big panoramas behind them of expansive scenery. That you know, they basically have two semis that are carrying their projectors and their stagecraft and everything. You see them off of that stage, they're worried, they're concerned, they're frantic, they're tired. They wish they could be home with their families. So if you want to shoot for that kind of greatness, I understand. But one thing we would help you to do is achieve balance. That yeah, you may have that segment of your life where you were an outstanding sports, whatever, performer, speaker, a sportscaster, whatever. Something in front of the cameras, the headlines, people are following you around, paparazzi taking your picture, you're showing up in the National Enquirer at the Pick and Save grocery line. What could be better than that, right? Maybe that's your aspiration, and I commend you for it, and it's fine to have that. But another part of you is going to need a balanced foundation, and we're going to help you get that. So if you want to be a big shooting star, we can help you get there. But we're going to help you also develop that balanced foundation from which, no matter what any of our goals towards greatness are, we should have. Okay? And I want to pitch for another kind of greatness. I have been on stage, and I've toured, I've signed books, I've done all those things, okay? And boy, am I glad I don't do it anymore. It's tiring, it's frantic. You're always thinking about things that just are superfluous, like the bottom line and deadlines and, and bookings and putting up with assholes, people beating you out of your money, hangers on, siphoning off some of your funds. And, I've been there. And I chose some time ago not to do that anymore. Because my greatness, I'm just telling you mine, my greatness is to be right here out of my office on the river, or my other office down in Panama City Beach, which is on the ocean, right on the ocean. Nobody knows who I am. Well, most people don't know who I am. I don't want them to know who I am. I want to enjoy the beach. I want to go out to eat with my wife. I don't want to be signing autographs. I want to just sit and joke and talk and, discuss our grandchildren and talk about things we did today and problems we're having with our students and, something funny we saw today or something stupid the president said. Or I want to be here in the country in Wisconsin on the river watching the birds, playing with our dog, going to the movies, eating out at a local mom and pop restaurant, watching British mysteries at home, reading, going to bed when we want to go to bed. That's my greatness. And I think it's astounding. I've told my wife, I said 99% of the world wishes they had what we have. But let's don't tell them about it because they'll kill us. I think I'm kidding. Okay. So I'm discussing greatness as a entity in itself. So we got all the way from big stage screen sports star, all the way down to people like me who see greatness as being rather quiet, kind of behind the scenes, under the radar, doing what I want to do when I want to do it, and having the money to do it. That's my form of greatness. Now you're going to have to choose what your form of greatness is. We're going to help you choose that. You're going to have to define what greatness is for you. You're going to have to define what your goals are. What do you want out of this life? And that's an easy question. A difficult answer for most people, as you shall see. Now, I have a background, talking a little bit more about me. After I came out of the poor white trash south, and my mother moved north, taking me with her, and probably a good plan because none of my family from down south ever went to college. And I went on to college and master's degree and PhD degree and was a professor, a published author, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I would have probably never done those things. Now, I wasn't really angry at her for leaving my dad because he's a great guy, and bless his heart, he passed away this last October at the age of 95. And I miss him every day. An outstanding human being. And I said in his eulogy, I don't know if it pissed my sisters off or not, but I said in his eulogy, Dad proved what an extraordinary person an ordinary person can be. Because some people probably think, well, ordinary, that's kind of a put down. No, he was an ordinary guy. He paid his taxes, liked to work in his garden, watch Auburn and Alabama play each other on TV. hang out with the kids, his grandkids. I guess he was kind of like me, you know. So he was an ordinary guy, but boy, he was a great man. Funny, told stories, helped anybody. We don't know how much money he gave away to people who were hard up. He didn't brag about it or talk about it very often. So, you know, back when he was younger, I mean, he had a grocery store with his brother, and they both worked full-time jobs, 56 miles away. They had to commute. But some little old lady would come into the store and say, "Oh, Joe Homer, my Freon in my refrigerator is down. It's not getting cold." And he'd, instead of napping like he needed to before he went to work, he would run off and pump up the Freon in her refrigerator. Or somebody would have a problem of some sort, need his help, or Tommy's help, and they would gladly do it. That's the kind of men they were. To me, they were great men, and they seemed very happy, very content, very together, you know, like, you know, they were full into life. Do you know what I mean? To me, that's a form of greatness. They made it look easy, but it's not easy to do if you don't have it. So we're here to help people, support people, provide resources, you know, education, seminars, webinars, PowerPoints, classes, you know, information, powerful information to help people transform from a trajectory that may be going like this to one that's like that. I know it's kind of a spiel about greatness, kind of it is amorphous. It's not like a, you know, dictionary definition. But let's just say this before I close out here in this little 20-minute spiel, okay, about greatness. A, it's a journey more so than a goal. Now, it's good to say, I want to be an outstanding, I want to run under 4 minutes the mile, to have that as a goal. But to hate all the training to get there is a miserable life. Or say, I want to be a millionaire, that's my goal. Well, again, if you can become a millionaire doing what you love, now that journey is more fun than getting the goal. And that's my story, and I can tell you it's true. My name's Anthony Dallmann-Jones, and you're not going to hear a whole lot about me, because Greatness Prep's all about you. It's important to know our stories because we learned a lot from them, and we think we can teach through some of our stories, but it's really not about us. It's not about any of the instructors here or the counselors here. It's really about you. And that was one of the things we said about educating for greatness, is we need to focus on the children and get to know them, to help them know themselves, to bring out these natural tendencies they have that are what we would call a contribution to the world that was built into their DNA. Again, that's why we're here. So you're going to hear about my pet peeve. We don't want any potential going to waste. We don't want anything in you that could be developed into wonderful aspects of your life that do not get tended to. So that's it. Now I'm signing off. And you better be ready for your own greatness, because it's coming. It's coming, baby.